Good morning. This is Radio Entrepreneurs again. We are broadcasting from the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the University of Massachusetts in Dartmouth, and we are very glad that they are hosting this event. It's very exciting. They'll be hosting all week, and I am Peter Meyerson, sitting in for the relatively inimitable Jeffrey Davis, who's missing somewhere. And with me this morning is David Soper. Hi, David.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going really well. And our guest this morning is Hugh Dunn.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hugh, you want to tell us about where you're from and what you'd like to talk about?
Sure. So currently my role is the director of the South Coast Development Partnership. And this is a business-led collaboration between the university and different communities in the South Coast, looking to drive educational attainment, economic development, and workforce readiness. Prior to this, I was Congressman Keating's district representative for this region, and prior to that, I was a student at UMass Law. So I've been...
So you've quite a background.
Yeah, and...
Did it prepare you for what you're doing?
Yeah, in a way, it's interesting. If you asked me a few years ago whether I'd be working at UMass-Dartmouth, when studying at UMass-Dartmouth, I could not have foreseen it, but I could not be happier with the current position and the work that I get to do here.
Well, that's great. So is there anything in particular you'd like to talk about?
Sure. So the South Coast Development Partnership, for as long as I can remember, and I used to attend the meetings of this organization prior to my current role, had been working on promoting South Coast Rail, bringing commuter rail back to New Bedford and Fall River. I believe that there were connections over 50 years ago that were either let go. I don't know how they stopped functioning, but a big focus for this region is getting that connection to Boston back.
The rail line.
The rail line, yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
You'll see that throughout the rest of the state, all the other cities within 50 miles of Boston have commuter rail access, whereas New Bedford, Fall River, and Taunton as well do not. And I think that bringing back that rail access would do a lot for our economy. It would drive property taxes, it would increase property values. We'd see increase in employment. We have kind of stubborn unemployment numbers in Fall River and New Bedford, and accessing those jobs would be excellent. We'd also see the ability for people who are being priced out of the Boston real estate market to land here, both residentially and commercially. We have a very unique and scenic region, but transportation is a persistent problem, and I think that if there are ways that the state can provide the funding to bring rail to this region, that it really push this region forward.
Isn't this area closer to Providence?
Sure.
So is there a rail line from here to Providence?
There's no rail line from here to Providence, and it doesn't really need one because we're so close. There is a rail line from Attleboro into Providence, and from Providence through Attleboro to Boston. But part of what we've been looking at the partnership is whether there are economic ties between the South Coast and Providence, whether we have a shared labor force, whether we have shared industry clusters. I'd suspect marine tech and maritime, perhaps defense related, would be clusters that we'll see in this region. And so with the Public Policy Center and Dr. Mike Goodman at UMass-Dartmouth, we've been working to explore those avenues, and this project has been promoted by Congressman Kennedy, who represents the 4th, which includes part of Fall River and a great deal of the surrounding towns in the South Coast. So we're looking to see whether we can do something similar to what was done in Western Mass between Springfield and Hartford in Connecticut, which is called the Knowledge Corridor. And that designation allowed the federal delegation to advocate for unique federal funding to this cross-border, this region, and they obtained, I believe 79 million in transportation dollars. So before we get there, we need to know what the study says and what type of unique funding we should be looking for this region.